ameche ketou amakisach ngamu tuomdoi kameche kosoiwech korok. Ameche kosoiwech tupchoni asing'ya kotar kosoi amwowo kalecho kikure ng'o ako ne nekemeche keng'alale eng betutab rani tupchenyu. Tos imwoitoiwech eng dakikayat agenge nekositakanech kityo sikeweke ketestai ak tetutiet.
Kongoi daktari, ongeza. Laitoriat Jehova nemi barak kipsengwet nesobe kaikeny, kimwoe kongoi amu saini kongamu sabet nekoi kaikonech ak rirenetabgei nekaikonech eng betut nebo rani. Kongagot eng kokwani pcheison kiame logoi ak keng'alali ng'alekab bandab tai, kimeche kesochi bororienyo ak bikyok tugul, meche kesochi chi tugul eng olimbo gaa kele siyai nemie ak iberur bororienyo, konech ropta, konech amitwogik, konech mieindo, konech tililindo, konech chomyet ak kikonech boiboiyet. Kisoe eng kainet nebo Jeiso ne Yetindenyo. Amen.
Iman. Cham komwoe biik kole kingole
Iman.
anan kole iman anan ko eng kayanet. Basi we are going to have to mix it, Reverend, because once in a while we get people who come from different, our rainbow society in Kenya. So I'd like to introduce my friend, my brother, my former schoolmate, my senior in high school, the Reverend Kirwa Maritim. I don't know why he doesn't have a Christian or English name. He will tell us why. I have known him for the last probably 30 years, I think. And I'd like to invite you, Reverend, to introduce yourself in 3D. We usually do it in 3D on Kokwe. That's why you heard me say, Serone Arap Chelule, Jason Apaga Matelong, Kenda, Kuinyo, Ajek Cheba Maimi, Chengulengo Mgobago, Orenyo Kenda, Tiondo Segemiati, Ororienyu, Ane, Olegisikina Goga Melilo, Chemitegri Jengma. Ajek chomi sakit tiengma kotab ndasimiet kokamecha tachin reverend imwougei ak imwoiwech ole ibunu, imwowech kainaikuk, oret, imwa tiondo, imwa bororiet, ngo kitomwoe momwa. Kimi chorwa nenyu nekibokoito betusiek alak kolo babarin kolen kole achek kikebe Chepsas kimatakimwoe tiondo kelechi mainyoru lakwet. Akoi kochergei nyokomwa anyun nung'yep komwa kiil kikochi mwaita. Nguni kemach ketangoe nandin oret ak tiondo sikitigin kotos kiburuchgei mising. Reverend.
Kongoi, thank you so much, Dr. Jason. It's a pleasure to be in your show today. Kongoi no, ndugu yangu Tom agetuyo kong'ete kabisa boys, kikoekeny kabisa kenyisiek chechang kabisa, so kikachon yap rani mukibiko. Kouyo kokas kegurana Kirwa Maritim. Atinye ne kainet nebo kanisa, lakini matachuto kainanato komie manamamu makase kwane noto. Lakini komi kibandet ako mi passport kainanato mataboisie komie, lakini miten noto. Ka abunu Kilibwania malong Kilibwania kokwet nekile Kaptendon, lakini amenye Kamnyeberai karibu Kamnyeberai Girls High School. Kipasisindet chichi abunu family nekile Kapsumbei. Matanaat mising family noto ngamwa ko ngwar metit biik chechang kole ngobichu ngomakingen. Menye Kaptendon ya kilen Kabaramungoi boyo nenyo. Ako kibi chekiyesta kole mi chemi shamba olo, mi chemi Keyo, mi chemi Nandils, mi chemi Masai olo. So akipasisit kaptalamindet biik chemenye Arwosio akitokosta kole ki kaptalamek chema makikop somok. Ngikop lolion akari kone noto Jason na kipasisindet tiondo nenyo kora kwa sister achek ko ki biik che kikil koik kiboitin chebo Jehova. Kipasisech ngiker bichoto ole boch ko biik che kicham kanisa ako kiba koik pastaek chechang koba alake koik mitini chechang bichoto. So makosa nguno kikuren reverend akine mukitisik kipasisech kotisik sikotokomwoe komie. Kou noto background nenyunet kolimbo gaa kou noto abunu Nandi county number 029.
Kongoi mising en Reverend, kimwa man ile kipasisech kotisik ko kiunoto koting biik kyok eng Nandi eng kapkoros keny ko kingeba kapkoros ko kiba sisek chetisisiei ki kotab tisik ko kiba sisek amu bicho anyinyen icheket yanini mabo kapkolu kure kapkolu ko asista komamite chi neng'ete ako it's a unique totem amu kikikochi kekure tiondo ila akoi ko asista
ako oret kora tiondo ako oret ama tiondo nebo banyek ak korotik.
Yes. Iman kounoto. Itinye family in Reverend kotimeche imwawech atya ikat biik eng olimbo Kenya chemitei ing kapyugoi ak olimbo gaa kora imuchi ikotisie.
Mi biik tugul mongen akot ale taunano family nenyu ko mi Kaptendon village Kilibwani ward Kaptendon village ak amenye Kamjibere kora. Ameche akat kokwotinwek choto tugul family nenyu tugul Kabaramung'uny members tugul Kapsumbei tugul relatives tugul ngole bo Chabuchang bichoto kora kokwotinwek chobo gaa tugul kong'ete Siwoino, Tirio, Arwas, kokwenyu Kamjibere ole amenye, ole Baimagi, ole Kibiok, Chepkunyuk, emono tugul ongeno mi gaa kila akemi akokwe kila chama imagine alishe ame bandek ngolo alion ameche akatak tugul ale chamgei bikyok kimi ngole gaa kichame ak family ketesetai keboisie eng kakiletabgei.
Kongoi mising. Kakokatin chito nekale kibosisindet akine kikure Alaska ngeno kale ngaiornyo kibosisindet akine manyu.
Kongoi atinye kibasisiek kora ngin Kipsigis kapyugoi nenyu ko Kipsigis kora oli bo Kapkatet akati icheket tugul Karamaina tugul ngole bo Kapkatet village akole ak relatives chebo bichoto tugul kapyugoi nenyu bichoto. Akati kora so ako mi kibasisiek Kericho, mi Kericho, Bomet, mitei kora akoi Tugen akomite akoi Keiyo akomi Nandi.
Kongoi mising. Kitinye toot ing yu mangen ale ng'o kure kerekerab rotuk ing Sacho ngaker kouni mwalimu Seronei.
Yes.
Iamuneo?
Achamegei Bwana Jason.
Mwaugei siki keng'etin kekwililen mwaugei kityo ile ing'o kakeri bo kabrotuk chichi. Akakere tuga korote ing yo.
Nususiek chekararan.
Maachek choto kabisa.
Oi.
Kongoi Bwana Jason ko eng kainet ko yakaimwa ko kwamba kereker arap rotuk. Kou yo kamwae kora arap Maritim ko atinye akine kainet nemi kuyo kamwa nebo Batiso lakini tom koy aboisie. Aya kityo yo kimache ngal chekichosoni che official ne noto ko Cosmas. Lakini kainet ni konaak ko kwamba kereker arap rotuk. Ko abunu kurgung. Yekile kapkoros ngen kurgung ko parai ngemwa kurgung kolen biik kurgung sanda anan kurgung boys kurgung kwa all village award mzima. So abunu yekile kapkoros itetege ak MCA nekomandoi eng biik cheingen kurgung kapkoros. Abo kabrotuk kaptororei. Abwati ale ongen kabrotuk ole parai ak itinye korik chechang. Abo kaptororei. Tiondo ko kibois anan
kibois is koret.
Koret. Ninake ko kolelwot. Mi anyun solopchot ngap kemwae boisiek kelen kitinye solopchot. Ko kialen atep ko ngap kouit ngap koroisi. Ko yekai ko nga oratinwechu kikiwale anan kile kikiyanyinyi yong'ik aeng manai kale arap Maritim pasis manai ale tos otinye age.
Asis ko kikipcheun aeng mi Tulungen ako mi Jason mi kikipcheun aeng lakini Asis kora
salanutik cherani Batiso ko asista kunoto tiondo ko agenge Sakaigin ingen ile mi tuguk aeng tiong'ik ola mite olekiwoldo yoiwonege nguno muren sinyen matasale oret ngalechu kisolotige chu kobo tibiikab oranata.
Chepyosok ak gogo ak mama.
Kwas atya komi biik chechure nguno inyoru biik chechure oret nin kochure kotinye churisienwa komite cheibwoli kotinye kawalenwa anan ko sabisienwa. Nguno okwek biikab chokweket chu kaprotuk ing biik chechang komwoege kole kaprotuk bo solopchot kelen kitupcho lagochu mangen ngap kemwa kele lion kolya chepwai ak solopis situndanye kemwa ine betut age. Cosmas angen ale kenyone amu koiaplan green card lottery mwochi kityo biik cho comment akobo green card lottery sikichunden amu ameche ketere ak reverend ng'aliotab nurses ako inye ko mwalimu nebo Ngeresa.
Ako yengalale yamwa chebo green card kokany kora atinye comments eng tai yu ngalechoto.
Yes.
Okay. Kongoi. Ng'aliotab green card ko mache konai biik cho kole deadline ko kwen kasi tarik 8. Ko suppose biik chetomo kwa plan amu kitinye kityo mutai inege ak maybe some part of Tuesday. So mangen ale kemoche amwa ne professor mising
koya plan tos kokimui ni konyoru kamuiso apply application ni kotaken how long?
No, in fact ngot imuchi produce the right picture ne makat ko process ko matakan even 2 minutes. It's very simple. Amu what if you need to ke very basic kainengung kikisije na uyo kiit sukul no ak itinye family ngot itinye family komache kotep kole ngiro pichaitab ngoka kwonda anan ko sandet ngo itinye lagok komache inde pichainik. So the process go very simple. Amatekani more than 3 minutes when you get the right picture. Challenge nemi application nebo green card ko pichait inyoru the right size in terms of
bytes.
Yes. Ako mamache kora kusir 245 KB. In fact, that is why kiger ko kimwae biik alak kolen atkan kora keiwe cyber. Lakini also the technology has made it easy. Amu our phones, you can download applications je konin the correct je imuchi bir pichait ne makat nebo visa nebo US, imuchi bir pichait nebo visa nebo all other countries. Because like me, I did it on kiai neken kurkat plan nenyu, plan ji kwanda nyu, plan ji bornyo, plan ji bo kokwet. You know, it's so simple. Mawe cyber. Ko abwati ale
kongoi missing in murgortebi takoi keweksei siketebe reverend nenyone nyokong'olole how to get to the US amu mwawech akobo kebeberwek cheterter chekibune. Reverend kingitar eng sukul mwawech kitikin akobo somaneng'ung ole kiiwete kotinyi kot ketuiye Kapsabet. Kiinome ano?
Daktari ngiloit bandai melen makikibunu korik chobo chitugul mamwoe ne mayaitu mising amu marerwane fees kikilgei sigik chechu kingosik boiyot nenyo kwa kanisa kotoi kokilgei kabisa akonde sukul, so mami chi ne kikionwech eng sukul chobo kawaida, lakini nyitore betut agenge betusiek aeng kokaiweke kora ak rabisiek, so manyalil eng that side nobo rabisiek amu kiakosik boiyot koek chepsosindet bas akonde sukul kabisa ketebe sukul ak ketebe kanisa. Kyawe Kilipwani primary school akoi atare Kilipwani primary school ko kiachakte kitokwo mingin, kiachakte kabisa amilet kidogo eng chekitupche, so kingoaitu ane kokakotoike sukul. So kiachakte kabisa anendet kingobo 13 years katar primary, ko melenu akimoe somane seriously, so awe Kilipwani high school yoto kora akoi atare form 4 bas ko kingomi Kilipwani high school ko kikanyoru division 3 ma kiameche kai in form 5 form 6 ko betwa pointit agenge kityo daktari awa form 5 form 6 Oh, you kikisire biik eng posta. Kikisire arap koske biik eng posta 1977 kongete 79 akitestai ko kimi kasisiek ngomewe posta iwendi teaching ngomewe teaching iwendi Kenya Power kimako minister nebo transport and communication Henry Koske. So kichang kasisiek. Arib as akine barwenyu nekikapromisen arap koske kole kanyoru posta kabisa. Kiarib kenyisiek aeng kiaonat arap koske mheshimiwa eng kila arambe nemite ngomiyando aonat kabisa kole mi barwengung kenyisiek aeng kolejan dereboindet mi barwengung ra kabisa kit nebo let abwati nebo let komwoon dereboindet nyi kipsigisindet dereboindet nakikweriat Range Rover nakibo Ministry of Transport.
Arabore, igura arabore boyoni
kipsigisindet ne like in kolegi
arabore.
Bas, ko kiakonaji jata mu kiarambe age tugul arobi ke karit ajenge barwet. Kolleja rani to mira we kolleja to ya mira barwengung kabisa kolleja kanye jese kekoni. Kokoi tatar tuyet rap koske ngarambe nikikimiten kilipwani. No kwatru kokona kolleja kekoni ni biru koten kakisiren kasi naguru. Ma baibaitu na barwet kabisa kalapat kabisa le bas ka boto kasi naguru. Nyali nager kai barwan kai ko kakisir kele Gilbert Maritim mane. Now agere zale ngo mane ni kora. Asmawi kyaleji haja ngo mama nenyu barwane kolleja ingen Gilbert no tale yangen kolleja ipchis. Amawi Gilbert agaleji we set bwana wi komie wi kasi na Gilbert ko siwa. So atilingi ata daktari ale bas ka kongetin chaen kain mwisho lazima ngome reverse anani iwal olita kinige ko kain mwisho akanya bas alengawe school ne so ibo agetike kora form 4 after 2 years away from school ibo agetike form 4 kora laboret kiyoto kit nekikona ko awe kike school ko kibwane 84 kikitarati system nekinyo nekibo 7423 kikitarati so ki 87 yot ko kina kichapalet kwa test jada agera lengot ko matilji karit amat ninyone niongen kotom komanda pas ko gawe ngalek chu kamu makonyam 844 kima somane system ta 844 so ibo agetike school daktari laboratory school ako kingawendi ko kaitu kora che kibanyor ko chikingotare school 1984 nekitai ko kimi form 1 kimono etu ko roja kanyo kesoman tugul ko kenyenge form 4 kagetike school bas ko amuane kyaitu ako kya ko wisabet ngolimba sange kane kya shidang sange ko kibasoman kabisa with all the seriousness ako kyawetamisha kaingit 87 not kyawetamisha kaingit kibaregister ndamwan masoman akenya pare kwa batisha kijam underbaindet ab tinget kora so ibo batisha nara ta bangwan nara ta mut nyawege bas soman kitamisha kaing as komang results chebo kenyinoto ko asir komie kekure Kapsabet Boys komie nyiketuiyo akenya as Kapsabet Boys ko yoto kikituiye akinye Kapsabet Boys
yoto ayani man amu kinginyon anyun ko kai konye kimeche kuwo ngap kelelion chichi nguchi nekikwo konye akot ingen wai kikai sai kole kile
kya kobirto sabet basai anege ko lessons sikane kenyoto Jason ko yit
just a minute
sabet
just a minute reverend mi biik chelen makasech mangen ale ngu anege ngoli anan okasech ngotokasech biik chok chaomite online nguno 33 of you. Does any of you have any problem with sound? If you do, please let us know because somebody else is obviously if you can't hear us, you will not understand what I'm saying. But ngotika say it komi mo ejileje kasi jikone thumbs up to get a start. Reverend. Inyo Kapsabet Boys.
Anya anyo Kapsabet Boys ko inga to Kapsabet ko ajita na itu kawan kapsa ako kya kongwanit sabet. Ko kiya taging baget tige sugulata wajoran
Kapfrizen Reverend Kalangu gamaj ko shoror network kelegi kingi bigeti sugulita wi choran agiyam nyoto le testayo
bas atawa joran saben new strategy na saben new ajeng ajeng ikasa bas atau ajeng sabi nyuala me jaga jige strategic plan na nyuna na pa tunon na ba kanyi sek tamang mu jemita kongete 1987 aga jiga la me je kanyi sek kitai taman ke ni kongete 87 no 97 ajob chini America so kanyi sek taman abang kan ni ke oli be ta America ko ki 97 anyo America kuna to wigi ga banga Pas ya itu Amerika ko matesa to live Amerika.
Amayu Amerika referente ibu tingkap sebet boys kimi te domi torin koro ane kami jeruya dome kwaker kwa bai itu kono ba kwangutin angana lebi kya kala ko tepna ko lejino nene ke ame kwa bai itu ko tamu sangra be lio ki dome perfect na nyune ta gi mi cubita en ke tuai kipsang be lio nguti oso ko ingana ne amoy ku lu kule jabi kala le tip sang no tan no me jinga punyo na ko yo warambe kala matagi na me gene ni to mage gera rambe ngale bi kyo ko me no bakwang mut bendi ko jamin atya mutai ko ma ko se senen gong sang you salimian ka classmates agi yote ikina barambe kos mas tos may mano
uno to magat ko uno to kapita
amwa lembe
ja lembe je kim nyo nara in ko kai set ako inenyo ko suppose ki lasunen ke
okay sa belia ibuat TV ka yote ikina barambe ko lengo ngumite arambe na baganisa na palako na basukul ne kumimol mo yando ne meje promote ni tarchiji ngale ki karaga sigi kasenenge tul ko ma ko in ngale na celebrate na le no ye kwa bai to ne tiagi ko jipsang ko meje ko ni bi gala ko le jino ne ki ga me jiji to kala ha anyway jipsang was my dome prefect in Kapsabet boys au gimia gipta ma buatin ko ginyor gipta PS ne bin ne pa finance kimi Kapsabet boys ko tar kitare 86 no ta itu no kitare 87 kitare laborate ko tar gipta Kapsabet boys atya ko iten aginya gitu ye ga ton tuai so Kapsabet boys reverend mo wa gimi
yes
dormitory your house
kami
admission number
right kami kibais dom na kuru house dom ko ki dom na walet kapsa si dining hall si dining hall gito ko su tap katam dom na bamuisha sa kaya ba dining hall ko ki kibais dom na tak na kuru house admission na nyugo 5850 abo ko ni ki dom master na nyago gi Mr. Musau the late Mr. Musau na gi wa keep ko principal ngi bisas kora ko patong ba ko nyora chali ko sister principal of course ko Mr. Mackenzie I think so ko jula kan nesa be nyugo Kapsabet boys ki anet ke tu sang Kapsabet boys mu gi be nafas Mr. Mackenzie ko ngalal we kapsa cheke ako netage tu ki lejeje act locally yani paishe imiyu lakini bwato limbata yani act locally think globally ki jamnyo ko ne le kyasa ko tengi ki ngele bare de Kapsabet boys ma bare na baka ita na ni ke panisha na ti ki jaga ya ngele bare ki ai preliminary sa baka ita atcho ngalal magenzi karibu nususa anan ko side musema ko nete oleksapta ya opportunities jamit sangolin jamita yolin so ki I think Kapsabet ki chul sabe nyu ago ngwa kara anale ngami sabe tage ngo tagilge anyu sabe ne siren yatinya ya mwane kya bunu village kya ndure bende ne batinget ku ga mwa ne ya ne village chande gitoma ago actually the first time our boarding school ya day school ngili wone ko ginya laborate ko gi boarding laborate ko ma ba justan asa ma wa I day school laborate so really the first time I di boarding ko Kapsabet boys so aga justan sabi nyungnya tagi ako yata Kapsabet boys kuna kinga tar Kapsabet boys awi ko kima majan amu ngale strikes ang nang ne public universities ko agwali kita ne katinya strategic plan and you know about 25 years ko kya na longo ta public universities ko elevation amu strikes so ya ngana na lawen ne theological college of course katinya ko school set ba ganisa ko pasta Ko awe theological college ang Machakos iba Bachelor of Theology kenyisiek ang'wan as akaboisie kenyisiek ang'wan alak eng Kenya achopchinigei visa. 1997 makalecho kong'ete 87 akoi 97 kikokochi kachopchigei America. Kiangen ale 97 awendi aibu visa ko kikapangan ale awendi ngachenge visa ko atinye degree eng Kenya netai ak atinye experience nebo somanet ak atinye scholarship eng bitonin. Choto somok chebarinigei. Ko iman 97 ko kiatar choto tugul. Kiatinye degree Bachelor of Theology kong'ete Scott Theological College. Kiatinye kenyisiek aeng experience nebo kanisa kiaboisie Liteinasi. Ako kiatau masters kora eng Nairobi. Kiayae masters kora part time eng Nairobi. So kingawe embassy ane Dr. Jason makitebena kiy age tugul kibakoite file nyu nikikachop komie kabisa. Kong'an kityo chepchumbindet tuguk tugul konyor I-20 mi scholarship orit konyor degree nenyu netai konyor transcripts tugul konyor transcript nebo masters nekatau eng Nairobi konyor bank statement kinyor kiy age tugul kolecho kityo ngon kitakelen weke sana nenyo visa ki embassy nakiba yabo cooperative bank yo El Selassie konait yo
katikati kotom koit bomb blast.
Kitom koit bomb blast. So ibu visa kunotok ane akanyo America ko kingaitu America nya Washington DC.
Ifreezeni reverend mangen ale ngui kase kounotok murkoro kinye ile freezeni reverend.
Tinye shida nebo in ngap kose kotonon kidogo.
Wei itinye inshororet eng network reverend. So ukele kaikas eng bandanyi nebo nebo reverend ko kitaune sukulishek chemite let olin gero ile hasalayat chichi. Murkor.
Korom bana kiwa bondono.
Korom bana nekit kokerkei biik ing'ung'et ak kibukwo secondary school.
Nganwach ko maraisi.
Reverend inyo iwe America ameche kisirar yotok amu kamache korepene sait notok kemeche keib nebo boisionikab banda. Iwe America biwe Washington itou yundok somanet age anan kibiwe kityo directly
kingawendi ane awendi bae masters eng theology kora amu igere ya iwendi embassy ko magoi inget ko koi pastor eng Kenya kitinye somanet nebo pastor nebo theology ile imeche biyai biology magoi inyoru visa nguno lazima konamgei kit nekoiso manjing tai nebisomanjini eng America sinyoru visa. So ibatestai ak theology kibai degree somok chebo theology kora. Atyateshi degree alak aeng chebo business administration and management eng master of science kora. Ko America ko koy atindio nebo America ako sobet nebo America ko ui sobetab America lakini ngipanganake ye kikapanganake akisa akikilgei ifauleni inyoru kit neimeche. So kiasomanji choto tugul bas akaboisie aeku chaplain eng sipitali kenyisiek chekachang'a eng sipitali. Part of it kora kiawe kora university kisianyone North Carolina ko kianyone university nekure Duke chinigei pastaek sipitali komi chaplains all hospitals komi chaplains ko chaplains koboisie ak daktariek boisie ak nurses boisie ak psychologists ke trainen kora ngai pastayat ke trainen kora ole griptoi wagonjwa ko ipasta ma meleni wendi biachini evangelism chito nemnyani kinetin mising psychology chebo counseling ak psychology chebo kanisa pastoral counseling. So ko kibanekchigei eng university North Carolina lakini kia specialize kora kit age ne very unique ne ngamwaun sai ko tos itabat kidogo ile ne noto. Kia specialize ne kikure hospice. Hospice ko chamnyandos chaka kole daktari maisabe. Ko yaka kole daktari maisabe ko eng korani chumbek ak ang'alalu naton ko laba Europe. Ko yakakemwaun komie kabisa kelejin ni oyo mnyaneng'ung koya sabet ko makoraisi sabe ngetoretin kityo iegu comfortable. So ko kianetchigas ole kitoretitoi biik eng sipitali chekakomwai daktari noto kolechi maisabe nget kityo nafas nito itinye nguno iboisie komie. So kya specialize in hospice ako missing in Duke University Divinity School kya nagugure dead and dying. Yani kya netige math immortality math kon those math kon prepare anda no jitan ne git kwa ki lenjine ne no ngalali ngalaje nga ki tubi jitan ngomwa jitan le nguwa le ko panda ki tubi ke le tun leji mo sis mago mo ngaleja lakini jumbe ngo ka ke le jitan ka panda ke ta ki chok jijo tang banata ki go nafas ko bangan ke ki go nafas ko gir pi ke me ko ki go nafas ko jul saben ji ki go nafas ko matu ke palit ke moy agot ang jumbe ko ra ki go ngara nafas ko ra ko bangan ko tala ko mazishin ne ni kita alage so kya net ke ngale data tukul ako jamo ay kasi ngata tukul ako ya inas ko ngale ka nasas
nguna melejini jita ng Amerika sigup tenge kyanda ni mai membo ji wendi mat
en majak ti yo wendi yo kita une logoro en counseling pastoral counseling kita une logoro ki ita une sabe ta kita ye live reflection koro iwendi nguna tindonik cheu chike tebe na chum kikisikina no kiyai ne kisomana no kiyai ne kasi imutu chito akoi koitut minguno atyo from here iwal kiyai tasiwe nerube iwendi nguno kokora imetei kondoun chichot amu ingele korani kora komakichome ilasimishan chichito en kayanengung ikanyo kondoun chichot asimut pole iwendi ne binyoru alak chesiku walaki ko ara kobo kayanet ake mamukristo ake ko itoreti kora kunoto kwa kuyele ole makto nendet chichoto lakini chechang ko ngamwoni aka chito ko makomi debate nalechinin chito mami muungwanan mami matinye time no chichoto chechang kosip kokonu kendeke kolechinin soiwo kakoek panda chechang
kongoi mising ngen ile ngolep Kenya ko korom ngalek iwendi ikonai pastaek chechang nyokonamchin chito yoto yakatkat kiosu kolechi iwendi matas kabisa koroini kiamwaun atkinye akoi alechin sikume kostoi ko ka
ache ko magiyai kunon makiibu opportunist kunot amu nginamchi chito yoto ko kosik chito kityo amu ketishan ako amu kekochi kotobot chito so kasik sikunet nema genuine kora chichoto kikwerie chito mutyo koit yoto kipkoyan inege kole bas ngamachi machobot awo ole awendi ko machobot amu itebe chito ileni ano iwendi kochopchigei banata kolom chito mongen ale une sobet ngoli kibendi
ya korom nebo kwangut amu that's why sikere biik chechang kobendi siko backslide amu kikilechi chito mi mat kilole kowendi chito kot kole ngomakere mat kyakimwanye tun koit auye mwenet kibo ma kwamu kokake mat maitu koker chichi kole kakiwestenen na time kowek kotab kwam raya tugul ngolimbo ng'ony olin kongoi mising in Reverend so kainyo America inyitau boisieng'ung iyai degree ng'uno chekoit kaek mut chekainyoru mameche kebe yoto mising amu kalen akere angotomo inyoru angotom kochur metit ako kainyit degree mut ko mameche kebe unda mising mwawecha kopas kikatepsi koikeuo kang'any ak meting'ung atya iker ile wait a minute angomi oret neimuchi ketorete biik alak chemite Kenya kobwa America asimwawech akobo boisioni iyoe nguno nito neben iyotyi oret biik chok chebwone koboisie eng America especially eng kebeberta nebo nursing ing yu kongoi mising Reverend testai Reverend Prison Reverend mangen ale kalia kimurkorto ikose anyendet ngaboisien iyeku check
akase komie kabisa
kakong'etin kakochibit Reverend kekas Reverend ile kakoum degree nekit mut
mi swali sine nekatotebe kakalechini angwa very short time ako kakochang'a kartasok
ishap chichi ngele kingonyone Kapsabet Boys akot nguno ngiker tokenyi kole kokoistogei kikakotoi koborgei kole kenyisiek kele ngomamining chichi ingen ile yakaiyetu chito komapkomilin kingiwe kongibimite ole imite akot ane nguno eng China Kingoitu sine kora in Reverend Kapsabet Boys ko kiamite and nga kiamono yo komelen kikitupchina satiet kiabote bichu kamwoe chu kalen nyo ng'ololdos eng assembly kinyamke competen yo kacherin yo kibwone assembly sinyekemwa ng'alek pare kakokoyoni ikure Waiganjo Mwangi keng'ololi kabisa kepongonu ng'alek ko eng ole akaietu chito komakomi kiy netakomilin kingawendi China kaetu akinametoi family ngole Kenya ngipilen iker chito ile ne netakomilo ngocho kiatar ng'alek kawechigei gaa you know imwawech reverend imwawech amune sikichaktae
kingami koroni ko amu koimeche ang'alale visas kotatinye yotok kingami koroni ngele kinamchech bomb blast ak boryono kibune kiwiren New York September 11 konamcho ko atarati degree netai na master tai so ko king kobi kobwa kiboryotinik chakowir emoni kowalak emoni kabisa ako koromit ko nguno achek sitebi komie mebet visa neng'ung'et ko lazima itebi sukul si yeku legal eng koroni so amwana natebi sukul akoi kityo asukumat sukul kityo amu mamach kobek visa nenyu amamach amanda amamach aistogei eng koroni so kiatestai kityo amilde degree kunotok ngituyo ne kole komuch koek PhD lakini taai PhD tomo atar tawendi achopchinigei notok amwae ale mi kiy netomo so ami achopchinigei PhD komie Kapsabet Boys ko kuya kemwa ko kele in kiayetu ko iman kiayetu kimakoboibenta ng'ung bichak chemi klasit agenge tugul inye ak Waiganjo inno ko kikibwoti kele obendi oeku lawyers lakini inye kicham mising ng'alekab amitwogik sa scientist nebo amitwogik but kikimong'u kele obendi oeku lawyers amu you are one of the best students ak Waiganjo in ka achek daktari Kapsabet Boys ko kim eng science kabisa biik cheng'omen eng science wanafunzi chemi Kapsabet Boys ko kicham komeche ochutenech ng'ony biikab arts acheket ko nguno kingap ke debate na kokwe keker kele uwa kama wasasai kidogo ko je wane amu kiana religion kidogo ko kikimuch akot ketishan ak kokwe kele ngo science tuisie kikikonak terminologies tuisie tugul ko kikonak biikab theology ng'alek kou konda ophthalmology kikikonak ophthalmos eng Greek kikikonak age tugul ta chabo ikun ko kikikonak ko kikimuchi ke debate na kokwe kingap akot olechechi okwek anyun juae CRE chu ak historia ne ku aki admission ngwanget ko kikapsabet kali sekai osho ole kikakikonak admission nebo Kapsabet Boys ochere kabisa ne kingait America le sasisyon Kapsabet Boys ameche acheng masters netinye science so kinya master of science in management aga statistics aga yang ne amu kiameche le jage amuche kinai kin nebo science
Cosmas kero ile ola tugul komi churisiet kero churisioni yake ko kicherset nyenin reverend amu yo kemeche chito ko stretchan imuchi icher Daisy amune imute no Daisy kepilin murgor comment kityo ngin reverend sikeweke kisirar kekas Daisy kokatech
kai ko inspired engin churisiet nekiochorin akot reverend sikokilgei that was wonderful
ingen ile kora kibichu FCU chechang cheboto Williams inyen ko kimaukanye kong'ololchi tip chu kai chu kobo Kapsabet Girls ko ki oret age nekilechini akokere bitono somong'eten motere ole kityo okere olin kora ngonyoru madam ong'ololchini olechini amune
kikisukunotin achek Dr. Jason kikibo kanisa kabisa kikinamchigei Bible inono ikere kotinye William akoi rani kikinamchigei not kabisa lakini nguno kwe kora kinyot chechech mising ole chep CRE chu anyun koito ano chutachu
ako kokeitu kiname Bible achek rani kokesoman ipkenyoru akot age nekikure Sirach nekimaomach oteshi Bible mangen ale kokinyoru ng'olyo nebo kamanut eng Sirach kale meng'etin kale mesom rabinik iyae tumdo sitoune sobeng'ung bananda
exactly
Daisy ikatech ketestai ak reverend kebe kakwautiet nebo boisionik cheyototin kakerin ose ara mutai Daisy yamune.
Ko mute na Daisy.
Bilele na Daisy mangana laga. Okay, nga mute ni nane
Mutant Daisy.
Une Daisy ni ta ko fancy no igering niya mangana le. Anan mi fancy ko ter Daisy. Daisy, I mute no?
Yes.
Kage kasi na yun. Yamune.
Ato migeng Daisy so matinya nga.
Imya no Daisy.
Amite Dubai.
Oh, okay. Kile ni apo.
Amigi barua Dubai yata airport.
Oh, kung kaya yun ano gang Dubai engin yung baganya.
Apo Nunandi County, Kaptumo Division ko yung location.
Oh, iba koyo rityo.
Apo nugo yo.
Oh, menyaw tara malakwen ninyo.
Give me as my church member kama chairman of organization Meshak Malakwe.
Oh.
Tarap kiri mtulondo ako yo.
Tulondo ako yo. Gigitinya jorwa na nyo nagigimi kapsabit boys tukul nagitungko ering nyo takinya ay masishi 1987 I think. Berta nagibunup sigis just a mait ko. Mait ko yo sanda gimitain kinya gebe bigit kaya masishi giat ke galgal tuluit sige ke kunuri. Kabetua kainet nyoto koyo karibu koyo sanda mi chito yoto nekikokochi ke kainet kureke Jeiso ingen nemi koyo sanda
nachame siasa isange Jason kabisa
nechome siasa kirebe na kainet akokochi ke kunoto Cosmas kokureke Jeiso
kakuleita baba nenyu angen kabisa
ngai lakwa inye nemining ngap kolecho iyokwok nebo kainet aribe kainet nengu
Jason kochome pesa ngikochi ko chorweng'ung lakini matikochi siro osireke
oi akosirgei kongoi Daisy koityem ng'alechep DV green card
hapana sijajaribu
igeni anyun nguno
I was to try but makikole suppose ke-register maybe ngitinye lagok itinye ne ko suppose i-register ne
well manecessary ngot ko manekite lagok imuchi i-register ke kotun iteteonjinoti ke
acha makanya meta family nenyu ndamu first born ngolinyanda tawendi sikemach kurgat
Ara ngini Dubai nguno komyeno.
Kumyeno.
Mika nguno
Balo Dubai ngala wendi.
Oh we.
Anyway, but nifinye.
Yeah.
Atinye Michael seta kumengeje ni wako 5 years now na wako twin. So kuna hiyo kitu inakuambia ara ngawe aloito lagok tuko sevalia.
Kimuti lagok. Mamite chine tenen imut lagok Daisy. In application. But
the problem kiasuptat nini kele kichobe lakini sasa ngimiolelo pick Kenya ngileja ngotu cyber akifika cyber sijui wanafanya nini so unaelewa tu watu wa Kenya yani mimi ineleje njita kele kichobe passport ndo uneangne yani sitaki hata nieleze because yote jita koma ya kuolige maktai so ite mahali neiluse ni hope.
Yeah.
Yani unakata tu kauli unasema wacha hii wenye wamejaribu ni waombee wapate solo ngitinye yani huyo age shirika lakini at least yatinye wala anyoru nege ngotyemake na anume tamanyor age sachi ke kityo
unata ngoset yun gaset ulini set ang Dubai kumobaru nalenga sidingit
unata
kongoi missing Daisy kongoi missing ijerbi kala kwa plan Paulo arabe to chamegeo
chamge arab Jason
yamune
achamege ane ko ab kendin nebo Kericho
yes kitaborenyu
kamatelongindet
kabisa
ako abaibaichini tetutietab mi Washington ako kakas ng'alalet nebo reverend and then kokaker cherset neo ne yoche keng'ololchin biik tugul koker ng'alek asibit komasib kobet komong'unet en sobet en banda. Bas ko uon ka betut netai ajoinera live
Program.
stream. So
Yeah.
kokaboiboenji ngandan cham akere kidogo kokaboiboenji betutab ra kabisa.
Thank you very much. Itagat orenyu sikobeng ketuitosi tugul. Angen kelechi Cosmas atinye chebo kamatelong chemi Kericho komeoni, lakini MP nebo Soin Belgutin Sonko kwara matelong
ayani amu
oi.
kwanyoru akine kabrotuk chemi psigis kabisa chechang.
Yes, that's why ikere chito nelen kipsigisindeni ko keiyot ni ko tugenindeni ko shenzi chichoto. Ngab
tupcho kalenjin tugul. Leisina uyo nenyos uyo bo kabrotuk lakwanoa.
Anamen kong Daisy yo.
Hapa melil. Lakini toma anai. Ane chama subi kanetutikab daktari. Kwa akasain kelen sijui oreng'wang ko ne. So bado najifunza vitu vingine. So kile kabratwa kotigoyalechini kityo kamelil family yako kamelil. Lakini mesira si hata kitebana maswali alafu mwanget.
So si tep sinye kenai fancy ameche ikotisien kotimi amu ameche kebereberen kotekanova program nekamiten betutab rani. Abraham, I just got your message. Abraham is requesting us to switch to Kiswahili. So Reverend, I guess the next step for you is to answer the question, what are these opportunities for people to go to the US as nurses? And what are the ABCs? Because that's what we want to answer today. How does one get these opportunities? What is the procedure to go there? How do you help? What is your role in opening the door for people to go to the US? Reverend, take over.
All right. Thank you, Dr. I think probably I'm going to mix a little bit of English and Kalenjin for the sake of our cast listeners. There are so many ways of getting to the US. There are several visas that one can use to get to the US. I want to give a disclaimer. I want to give a disclaimer first before I talk about the US visas. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an immigration attorney. I'm just talking out of my personal experience. I'm talking about, I'm also sharing information that is public information. So if you need legal advice, I can give you names of lawyers who are authorized and they are licensed to practice immigration law in the US. So I'm just sharing information with you as like Wanjiko. So jang ortinwek chekimuchi kebwa koroni keboisie visa cheter kakuya mbelen ma lawyer nebo fees nebo immigration then yamujanet kidogo. I want to go through real quickly the different types of visas and probably I'll spend more time with all of us. You know there's a visa is for diplomats, for foreign diplomats, foreign officials, government diplomats, those who work at the US embassies. I mean, there are home embassies in the US in Washington, D.C., and those who work at the UN in New York, those who work World Bank, Washington, D.C. So any government related or diplomatic visas, that is an A visa. There's a B1 visa. That's for people who are doing business, those who are athletes, amateurs, professionals, anybody who is coming to make money, to run for money here, they come on B1 visa. B2 is for people who are coming for medical treatment and tourism, those who are coming for holiday, for vacation. So that's B1, B2. Then there's an E. E is for investors, and most of those who get the E visa are from countries that have a treaty with the US. So if you are from a country that has a treaty with the US and you have millions of dollars to invest in the US, you can get an E visa. There is a E3. E3 visa is for Australian citizens. So if you are an Australian citizen and you want to come and work here in the US, you come on an E3 visa. So especially nurses, if it's even non-Australian citizen nurses, like if you are an African nurse going to school in Australia, when you get your education and you sit for the NCLEX exam, because they all do the same exam like here in the US. Once you pass that exam, that NCLEX exam, we can transfer your passing grade to the US, and you can get a license in the US. But you are also
for the sake, yeah, Reverend, for the sake of those who are following and they don't know what this is, what is NCLEX and how do you spell it?
Okay, NCLEX. NCLEX is NCLEX. That is like licensure exam for, it's like a national licensure exam for nurses. So that's when you hear me talk about NCLEX, that is what it is. Kastoi kyo wiga mwa ko mi ortinwek ki boisie ke bwone koroni visa jet len A nebo bi kiboitinikab serikali, le B, B1, B2 nebo taek ak nebo bi kora chebo mungaret che imuch kobois ing yu. For students, they use F and M visa. F and M visas. Like when I came here, I came on an F1 visa. So that's for students, for academicians, those who will come on vocational training, universities. Do you know even primary school and secondary school kids, they can come on an F1 visa to the US, or J visa. There's a one they call J. So if you want to send your child here, let's say they're in Form 1, Form 2, even primary, they can come to the US as students. So student visa is not university only. It starts from kindergarten, nursery school, and all the way to the university. So that's that. There is one that's called H1B. H1B visa is for specialty occupations. This is like for engineers, for IT professionals, for people who have like a specialty, highly specialized knowledge, training, like lab technicians, lab technologies and all that. So they fall under B, but it has a cap. It has a cap every year. So it's very competitive. So you have to have a sponsor here in the US to sponsor you to get that visa. One good thing with this visa, H1B, is when you get here in the US, you can convert it to a green card if you come on H1B. Then there is an R visa, which is religious visa. I also use that at some point. So that is for people who are in the religious vocation. You don't have to be a Christian or anything. As long as you practice a religion and you have been trained to master's level and you can get a sponsor in your religion, you can come on R visa. Then there is a H2A visa. That's for temporary agricultural workers. You know, you can bring people for kibarua here. There is a visa for kibarua, watomukono. So you can bring people here to come and do the harvest. Every year at the end of summer, all these farms in the US that are not, they don't use machines they bring temporary foreign workers. Mostly it's Mexicans because Mexico is down here, but also people home can come. Then there is a J, and H1B, yeah, J and H1B. J for professors, for scholars, for teachers. Mostly J is for people who have a PhD and up most of the time, and also those who are doing master's level in a special area. So they can also use J. J is also an exchange visa. It's an exchange visa for like cultural exchange. Like if you have a group at home, like a cultural group or a group that does anything they do and they want to come here on exchange, they can come on that visa, that JH1 visa. And then there is an I visa. I visa is for media and journalists. And then there's the TN visa, that is for Mexican and Canadian citizens. And those are non-immigrant visas. All those I went down the list, they are non-immigrant visas. It means that you are here for a short time. So you are not coming to stay. You are technically coming as a visitor and going back. Then we have what if you have any question about non-immigrant visas, maybe you can ask before I move down to immigrant visas. If anybody has any question about non-immigrant visas, the ones I went to. If not, let me go to immigrant visas. Immigrant visas are the permanent visas. You are coming here to work and live permanent resident on green card, So there are like 5 categories of green cards, 5 different categories of green card. There is the immediate relative, family sponsored, family-based green card. Like if you are already a green card holder or a US citizen, you can sponsor your family members to come and join you. So that is one category of green card. The other category of immigrant visa green card is employment-based. Employment-based, yeah, and they have categorized them in they call it preference groups. So they have what they call group 1, group 2. They give those preferences based on the shortage here in this country. So they have what they call priority visa or employment-based. Then they have what they call professionals holding advanced degrees. Somebody like Dr. Jason and others can use that. Professionals and other workers, that is a third preference. Employment creation. If you want to come here and create employment and invest, there is also a visa for that, green card. And that is like fifth preference. And then certain special immigrants, like religious workers and others. And then you have, when I finish the list, I will go back to talk about nurses and how nurses can come through this employment-based green card and others. So the third type of green card is humanitarian green card, which is like asylum. People can come here and they say, my home is not safe for me to go back because it's war-zone country like Somalia, South Sudan, and these other countries, so they can give you green card based on that humanitarian. So you can seek asylum here, and you can come as a refugee here. The fourth one is the DV lottery, and that's the one we were talking about, the DV lottery. That's the one we were talking about. Let me just mention the fifth one, and then I'll talk more on the fourth one. The fifth one is what they call long-term resident. Long-term resident is if you had a green card here and maybe you left the country, if you were green for 8 years and you left the country, you can come back. If you have had it for 8 years, within 15 years, you can come back and reclaim it. So they call it long-term resident. Let's talk about DV lottery. Our friend here, just Mr. Rotuk, says we only have 2 days to apply for DV lottery. They close in the next 2 days. On November 8th is the last day. So you can apply that. It is a completely computerized system of lottery. As long as you meet the minimum qualifications, your picture is clear and you follow the rules on what type of pictures you need to upload. You can apply and include your spouse and your qualified children. Qualified children are those who are 21 years and under. 21 years and under, and they should also be unmarried. They should not be married. So you can include them in your application. When you get that, when you get it, then they will all receive their green cards with you. Of course, it's not just application. Once the lottery ends, they will next year when the computer system will pick the winners, and then the winners will be informed that won, and then they start the process. It's not like you just apply, you get an email, and you go the next day. The process takes quite a while.
Just to clarify again, so because when you say you can apply for your children under 21, it's also true that a child who is under 21 but above 18 can also apply on their own if they meet the other requirement, which is you have a high school qualification. In that case, is that true?
I am not sure about 21 and under, if they are allowed to apply on their own because they are still considered a minor. So probably
okay.
those who can apply on their own are 22 years and above. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but I can imagine that as a minor, they cannot apply on their own.
Okay.
The system will not even allow them to do that. The system will not allow them to do that. Now, let me warn our people, when you apply
just
for
a minute, just a minute, Reverend Cosmas, you have a question?
Yeah, I was asking Maritim, how does the system recognize that this one is below 21?
Date of birth. Hello.
Yeah,
Cosmas.
when you are filling the form, it asks you your date of birth, and the system will just calculate.
Yeah. But as I was doing yesterday, there was someone below 21 who applied, and I didn't find that problem that you're talking about.
No, I think the Reverend didn't say it was a problem. What he said is he doesn't know. It was rather
I
a
said
problem.
I was not sure.
Yeah.
I was not sure if they can.
Okay.
And you know,
Okay,
probably the system will allow them to apply, but they may not be picked because of age.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Right.
So Jennifer Kilel, Dr. Jennifer Kilel is telling us that children under 21 should not be married and should not have kids. So they can apply. They could be in your application, but they should not have children, neither should they be married. That's only why they qualify to be under you in your application.
Exactly.
All right. Congo missing, I see Jeligo Philip says, happy to see Reverend Maritim Guy Mua Migab Nivera in Philip Abuating and Brunia Wasimbi.
That's my neighbor, Philip, former councillor.
Former councillor Galega Mua Emua go Botua, Gurinenti Slam Duella. He's what he is what Mama Magaine that Jota Gigamang Leodona, Kigurene, Tamuna Jurici and Juribi, Reverend.
But Congo Mugi Jure is a subject, Jurisha and Mabawich in Jurin Coca Legend seeking.
Exactly. That's right, Reverend. Because we want to go to answer the question about we want to answer the question about, so now you are done with the visas.
No, let me, I'm not, I wanted to make some comments about how to apply these DV lotteries. I mean, I wanted to give some portions. When you go to the cyber, please pay only the cyber fees. Do not let anybody fool you that you need to pay some money for the application. The application is in the US State Department website. It is free of charge. You can only just pay for the cyber service fee. Do not pay anything more than that. Secondly, use your own email. Do not let the cyber person use their own email. Because you know what happens, like last year, we had a case of a young man who won green card, but he did not use his own email, he had used the cyber person email. So the cyber person told him, I need 400,000 shillings in order for me to release to you the letter, the green card letter. So please create your own email or use a family member's email address when you are applying, because you don't want somebody to check that letter and then they start requiring for money. So that is just a warning. What if you apply green card? Leban gitjora bini kya basai ba ja ibaru machine ko lege bai sheta ga sakata na ga green tea jana ne leban jota gitjo de rube bai che email ngunget ngung anan gon ba chi ngung anan gon ba chi ne ingen amu ye tun gamang tu kya ta gi nyoru ko got ko gi email ko gi ba chi age ko mu ko le ji ja ta ko nura bini se wana da ko ye gi ya ga ni ko jen kitana ya no na deals ki bangale ja ko kesi te ke ba TCI ko kesi no ne amu ki nam ta ki me de elu njai ne so ko gon bar wana da.
Yeah, Reverend Dr. Kilel, Jennifer just mentioned to us that minors are 18 and below. So anybody who is above 18,
maybe they could apply technically.
Yeah, that they can actually do. And probably that is possibility one, that if you are above 18 and married, no children, below 21.
And has finished Form 4.
Finished Form 4. you apply, or your parents can apply, include you in theirs, and then you can apply on your own as well. So you have sort of 3 chances if you look at it that way.
Yeah, thank you, Dr.
Okay, yeah, Jennifer Kilel. Yeah, that's that, Reverend.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Kilel, for clarifying that. So I want to move straight to my area of specialty. I do bring nurses to the US on these work-based visas, the employment-based visas, the EP3-based visas. And I want to probably spend the rest of the time talking about that and answering questions and teaching you what you need to do for your children or for your friends to qualify. And I'm glad Dr. Kilel is here also to help me out because she's a beneficiary of that. Okay, as I told you, I'm a hospital chaplain, and I have a background in business. I did a MBA, business management, because I wanted to prove myself to Kapsabet boys, people like Dr. Jason, that, hey, I have a degree in science just like you. Now, I had that background a little bit. So, but I was not planning to start a business of bringing nurses. That was not part of my plans. But I have relatives in Kenya who have always wanted to come to the US, and it was so hard for them to get the right agencies. So while I was in the process of trying to help them, another agency, told me, if you have more nurses, hey, bring them. We need these nurses here. So in that process, my relatives started bringing their friends, and then their friends brought their friends, and their friends brought their friends, and all of a sudden it was nationwide. We started in 2019, but people were a little bit suspicious. They did not know who I was. They did not know the agency I was representing at that time. So it took almost a year for people to be comfortable to know me, because of course, there are many scammers back home, and people are, they take their time to know you. By the time we were like really hitting the road real nicely, and then COVID was hit. 2020, early 2020, I brought a from the US to come and do in-person recruitment in Nairobi and Eldoret. And we recruited about 100 nurses. We had like 70 in Nairobi, in Eldoret. So we put them through the system. And then COVID came and things went wayward after that. We were able to resume early last year, 2020, my first team to Mumbai to do their exam, their NCLEX exam. But then Omicron hit while they were en route to Mumbai. And guess what? They got stuck at the airport in Mumbai for 3 days. I had to bring them back. They did not do the exam. Soon after that, NCLEX Center opened in Johannesburg, South Africa. And that is where I sent that team to South Africa. It's been growing. It started.
Yeah, Reverend, when you talk of Reverend, when you talk about exams, please clarify what exams are this?
Okay. Yes. Nurses, they have when they finish their training back home in Kenya or any other country, they have to do a national exam in order to get a license in their country, right? So for the US, they have to for a special exam to get a license to practice in the US, one of the states. Each state has their own licenses, but the exam is the same, almost the same all over. So that is the exam I'm talking about. It's they prepare to sit for this exam. Once they pass, they get a US license, and that will allow them to get their career. We'll talk about it much later. So that's the exam I'm talking about, the US state licensure for nurses, and each state has its own license. Most of our nurses, they sit for Texas board exam. Others sit for Montana, New Mexico. Those are the popular states that nurses sit for that exam, the NCLEX states. Right. So so system has really grown. I was doing it at that time as a side hustle, as a part-time job. I had my full-time job in the hospital, so I was doing this just on the side in the evening when I get home on weekends. but then it reached a point where it's grown so big. We so far we have 600 people in the pipeline going through the system, and after Kenya, it went to Tanzania, a little bit of Uganda, but Ugandans were a little bit shy, so a few of them came and they did not go far. They were a little bit shy. Tanzanians were very excited. They joined us, but then they had a lot of issues with their documents because of the Kiswahili language. Now we have a lot of people from Zimbabwe, Zambia, Ghana, Cameroon, Gambia, and Ethiopia. Of the 600 that I'm talking about, those are the countries now that they represent in Africa. So it has really grown so big. It has become huge. When I started in Eldoret, actually the first initial original nurses were from Moi Teaching and Referral. But then now I have literally all the hospitals in Kenya, and then including the other countries I've talked about. So that is what it is now. It's grown so big. We have opened an office in Nairobi because I cannot handle 600 people on my own, and it's growing every day. We add about 6 to 10 nurses every week. We add them into the process. So we are growing so fast. So we have an office in Nairobi with my partner, Felix. Felix is also a businessman. He has been in a tourism and travel industry for a while. So he's the one who takes care of all the air tickets for the nurses. Is in Nairobi right now. So let me talk about, before I talk about the process, let me talk about the process for nurses. Before I talk about the process for nurses, let me talk about another category that we are starting. Still in the pipeline, but we are starting that one. We also take lab technologists. So beginning January next year, we have contracts with different hospitals and agencies to bring lab technologists. And these are the requirements that lab technology will need. And those ones, they come on H1. So, but then when they get here, we will convert their H1B to green card. So we need a BSc, Bachelor of Science degree in lab technology or in lab science or biology or in chemistry, but they should have enough lab hours to qualify. So, and then their exam is different. The nurses will do the NCLEX. Lab technologists, they have to get certification from AMT or ASCP. Those are the companies that certify lab technologists. So they all have a license here in the US. Am I still there? Daktari.
Kikosin.
Okay, sir?
Yeah.
Akasin kabisa.
Okay,
Okay. Just time.
So those are we need technologists. We need lab technologists, not lab technicians. Lab technicians are the diploma level or certificate level. We need Bachelor of Science, either in lab technology, lab science, or chemistry or biology. Those are the ones that we need. I cannot see myself on this video. I don't know where I am. Do you see me?
Yes, we do. We actually see you, Reverend. If you don't, you need to click on the 3 dots on the top right, where you see something called View. Can you see View on the top right corner of your window? But we can see you. So
you can see me fine. If you can see me fine,
so please don't misbehave. We can see you.
Right. All right, you see me.
Reverend, just a minute. Jennifer just mentioned to us that before the nurses do NCLEX, there are 2 other tests that they basically do. Do you want to comment on that?
I was going to get to that. I'll get back to nurses. Yeah. I'll get back to nurses. I'll get back. So that is something new. The lab technologies is something new. We are starting soon, and we have 2 employers that are ready to take them, and they are ready to file for their H-1B. So website and apply from there, or communicate with Polaris. Now let's go back to nurses. Okay, nurses, we need nurses who are diploma level or degree level nurses. MTC, any MTC in Kenya or universities in Kenya that offers diploma or degree in nursing. We prefer 1 year hospital experience to when they are starting. But even if they are not working right now, if they are not in the hospital right now, we can get them started with the process. But then meanwhile, they will be getting the experience along the way. Maybe the documents, the exams Dr. Kilel was talking about is the English exam. There's an English exam also that is required, but it depends with the agency. My agency, we don't require that English exam immediately. If they don't have it, they can get started with the process, and then they can do the English exam much later after they pass NCLEX. So it really depends with the agency one is going with. So here is the process. You apply with us, with the agency like us, or you start the process on your own. Because you start the process on your own or go through us. So you do the first initial application and they take you through the process. The first thing they will do is, depending on the agency, they do a pre-assessment exam. There is a very short exam that we give them. Like the first one is 20 questions, and then the next one is I think like 70 questions or so. Like that is just a pre-assessment. Once they pass that, then they sign the contract with the hospital or the agency they are working for. They will be working for them. And then they start the process for document verification. Unfortunately, US has to verify that the documents are genuine, the transcript is genuine, your degree or diploma is genuine, because there are so many scammers nowadays. So that process takes a while. There are 2 ways of doing it. They can use CGFNS, which nowadays takes long for them to process. It takes forever. Then there's another one called JSNA. Those ones, they are a little bit faster. So there are 2 ways of doing that, but it depends with the agency that will sponsor you. For us, we have both. One agency will take you through, one employer will take you through CGFNS, and then the other one will take you through JSA. And JSA is probably faster route for you. So once your documents have been verified and you have been given all assessed reports, assessed report is to say that your education and your diploma or degree is at par or is equivalent to the one in the US, to the equivalent to the education that nursing education in the US is offered. So once you are pre-qualified for that, we take you through our NCLEX, because you have NCLEX. We have to help you to study for NCLEX. We give you modules, we help you, we show you what to do, how you time you are also doing that. Then we apply for the state board, whichever state board you are. Most of the time we apply for Texas, but for JSA, we might be studying Montana State. So at that point, we will apply for for one of the states to accept your assessed report. And that one will also pre-qualify you to sit for that exam. So as you study for modules, we also apply for your state board account. Once all that goes through, that's when also they do fingerprints, your documents, your transcripts, and your license, they have been verified, and then fingerprints, and then you do another small exam in Texas with NJE exam, but that's not an exam for nursing. That's like a general exam for the nursing jurisprudence exam. It's like a general exam for how nurses should behave and how the law is applied, the law in nursing. So that one is also done at that point. Now, when you are ready for the exam, you will apply for what is called ATT. It's authorization to test. That is an authorization letter to show that you have met all the prerequisites and you can book for an exam, for an NCLEX exam. You have met all the qualifications, all the prerequisites, and you are ready to do that. So we help you book that with the Pearson VUE. And from there, we have booked your exam. Nowadays, they go to South Africa. So we prepare you to go to South Africa. Hopefully, during that time, you've done your modules, you are well prepared, and you are ready to go. So assuming that everything is well, we send you to South Africa, you go sit for your exam in South Africa. And when you pass, you come back and start the new process for the immigrant visa, for the green card. So you start the embassy process from there. I don't know if there's any question up to that point.
Yeah, there is.
Yes.
Reverend, if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so basically what you are saying is you have a pre-screening before you clear somebody to do the NCLEX.
Correct, yes.
And the NCLEX is not offered in Africa. It's not offered in Kenya. It's not offered in any other country except in South Africa. So somebody has to travel to do it in South Africa.
Yes, it's offered in South Africa and only in South Africa, in Africa. And then you can go to other countries like India, Mumbai, New Delhi. You can go to Philippines, Manila. You can go to Turkey. Or
Yeah.
you can go to Europe, or you can go to America.
Yeah, but then the easiest would be for somebody from Kenya to go to
South Africa.
To go to South Africa. Now,
Correct.
there will be costs involved in the pre-screening tests that you've given. I see Jennifer has also written there CGFNS, which is what you mentioned already. Who pays for this? Who pays for CGFNS, and how much does it cost? All these pre-screening tests. How much does NCLEX cost, and who pays for it?
Right. Along the way, there are several costs. Along the way, each agency have doing it. When we started, the first agency I was working for, they were paying everything 100%. They were paying for your CGFNS, they were paying for your State Board of Nursing, they were paying for your Pearson VUE, they were paying for everything 100%. But you know, our people, we mess up and we mess up things. So a lot of people were, you know, dropping out of the program, and the company was losing a lot of money. So we decided to introduce what is called cost sharing. We want you to show us that you are serious in the process, and we want you to start spending money in the initial stages. Spend your own money first to show us that you are serious. So my agency Polaris and the other companies we are supplying nurses to, we are requiring nurses to pay for their own CGFNS or pay for your own JSA. So when you do that, and that money is refundable to you. When you come to the US, you will be refunded that money. So we are requiring you to start by investing on yourself. Pay for that money first, and that's a way of showing us that you are serious. And then you will also incur money with DHL. You have to send your transcript. You have to send your nursing license from your state, your country board of nursing. For Kenya is the Nursing Council of Kenya. The other countries, they use their own board of nursing. So you spend that money. CGFNS is $385. You pay that directly on their website. For JSA is $485, and you pay that also directly to them. So that is how things are right now. We are still also adjusting to see. I know one of the other agencies that I've been working for a long time, they will pay for your Texas Board of Nursing. They will pay for your Pearson VUE. They pick up from there. Once you pay for CGFNS, they pick up the rest. For the new company that I'm supplying nurses to in North Carolina, we might require nurses to pay for your JSA, pay for your Pearson VUE, get your ATT, and book for your exam, and then we pay for your air ticket to South Africa and your hotel accommodation, and then we take over from there. Also, all that will be refunded to you once you pass your exam and you get to the US. So it's not money that is going to waste, it's investment on you, and also we are also protecting investors' money from this side.
Okay. Reverend, I guess the question with a lot of people is who pays the agency? Is it the nurse or is it the hospital or both, right?
Or the legal ways of doing it legally is if you are going with the agency will bring you here. They will spend their own money and bring you here to the US, and then they either send you to a hospital to work for them. So the hospital will pay the agency to send you there. So you are working for the agency, but you are working in a hospital. So it's like the agency is contracting the hospital. They have a contract with the hospital to supply nurses there. But they are also, you are an agency employee, but you work in the hospital. So the payment is between the agency and the hospital. Now there is another way whereby there are actually two other ways. The other way is that the agency will process everything until you get your green card, and then they will sell you, like sell in quotation. They will sell you to the hospital and you work for the hospital directly, and the hospital will pay the agency. The other way is like what I'm implementing right now. The other way I'm implementing right now is getting the nurse directly and hooking them up with the hospital directly so that there is no agency in between. So it's going to be just the hospital and the nurse directly. If I'm in between them, I'm just making the connection only, but they are not going to work for me, and they will just work for the hospital directly. So that's a direct hospital sponsorship. So those are the three legal ways. So really, the nurse should not pay money to anybody unless, sometimes these nurses, they get stuck. I mean, when we talk about the challenges, I'll tell you where the nurse might need to spend money, but you don't have to. If you knew how to do it, you don't have to spend that money. Like money for cyber, money for doing other things. There are so many things that, because this thing is so complicated, sometimes people might spend money back home just to get things in line, and that's it. But in terms of getting connected to the employer, in terms of getting the employment letter, the employment contract, it is free. It is free of charge. We are not allowed to charge money for that. We don't charge money because the hospitals will take care of that payment. And I know Dr. Kilel also went through that and she knows it. So we don't collect money for the whole process. Probably if we charge you for anything, it might be just for basic services back home, just basic services. But connecting you and getting you the letter for employment, going to the embassy, going to South Africa, all these, whatever we are doing for you, the hospital will pay us for that, not you.
Thanks a lot. I mean, it doesn't sound like, because the Kenyan will typically want to understand that to mean it is free. I really have to warn our people that we need to disabuse ourselves of the notion that this is a free thing. It is free on the money side, but it costs you time, effort, discipline, organization. And when you think about going to work abroad, it's about being structured. Things don't work like that, because people stick to the law and they stick to the process. And if you are in the queue at 7 o'clock, people don't understand why you come at 9 and you are served first. So we really have to disabuse ourselves of that mentality that there is a way you can cut the queue. And the best way to avoid that is to prepare early. Reverend, there are a couple of questions. One of them is from Jennifer. She's asking, from end to end, from start to finish, in terms of time, how much time is required? I guess that's a question we need to go into a sort of a calculation together and check. But there was one from Fancy, who is in this forum on Zoom. Fancy, you know, we invited you to say something. You didn't say anything. Do you want to say something now? Can you ask your question personally? Fancy?
You can hear me?
Yes, we can. There is a bit of noise, but I mean, if it's not convenient for you, you can let me ask for you. But go on.
Okay, yeah, I'm in a multi place, but if you can hear me, that's all right.
The acoustics are bad, Fancy. I would love to mute you. I will ask for you.
She can chat. She can write. She can chat the question.
She did it. So
Okay.
she's asked about people who did food nutrition and dietetics at diploma. What is the chance of working in a hospital there? You know, in Kenya, you can do dietetics and then you go and work in a hospital. One of your neighbors, actually from Kilibwani, was working at MTRH, Morris Kapchip Kiyen. He was
I know him. That's my neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mama,
Yeah. Oh, wow. I think Jennifer will also help me on that. Here, I think to get a license here to practice as a nutritionist, dietitianist, you probably have to have a degree in that or a master's level. So far, I don't see any green card for that category at this point. But then to practice, you need a degree and a master's level.
Okay, very good. Kimurugor, you have a question, but it is related to something which is outside the scope of today's discussion. He's asking whether somebody can actually go to the US and teach Kiswahili in those multicultural schools. I'm going to connect Kimurugor offline with somebody who is taking a PhD at the University of Michigan. He is from Jerever, and I know him personally because we are doing something on the Nandi language in another project. Murugor.
For teachers, let me just interject something there. For teachers, you remember the J visa I talked about?
Yes.
Teachers also can come here through agencies, just like nurses, and they can come on J visas and teach. And also there is an exchange program, also the same under J. If he's a linguist like Swahili teacher, he can come probably on an exchange, a special exchange program and teach. So it's possible, it's workable.
All right. Simon Langat is asking, he's a Bachelor of Education Science student at MKU, Mount Kenya University, just a third year, pursuing biology and chemistry. Will he get a chance to work there? I guess the chance would be to teach or work in probably the lab technology.
Lab technology, yes. Tell him to get a lot of hours in lab, do a lot of classes in lab and get all the hours that you can qualify to be licensed to practice as a lab technologist in Kenya. That's how you will qualify to get here.
Yeah. Okay, Reverend, let's go back. Thanks a lot, Nimrod. He's saying we are doing a good job. Thanks a lot. And Simon Langat and I know Nimrod has applied. Simon, have you applied for the green card, DV lottery?
Maybe Doc, I've not because I was still having the hula baloos of can I apply now that I'm a student? So Kakoma, sure, because I wanted to confirm first whether I can get chance to work there, then I can now proceed in applying before the deadline.
Apply.
But yes,
it will take 2 years. Between now and the time you will be clear to go to the US, it is 2 years. By then you will have by then you will have graduated. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you are not going to go to the US tomorrow, by the way, and you are not going to go next year. So
even with DV lottery is for 2024.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Apply.
Let me do so quickly. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I put the link already on this on the Facebook.
I saw. I'm an active follower to you, Doc. Nani, I am your follower indeed. I even answered the question, the one you said about that worm in water.
Yes. Yes, the leech, the leech.
The leech in the scientific name. So I answered it well.
Very good. Begging you just 300 meters, no 300, 150 meters away from where I live. There is a practitioner here who is actually putting Reverend in Kanyitiet. There is somebody in you netinye shop nebo pinyinyet nekindoi biik kindoi toget kinde teget.
That is a therapy. It's a kind of a
I saw
therapy.
you posting it.
Yeah.
It's
a kind of a therapy.
Posting that.
Because of ngotitinye chito potentially high blood pressure, again blood clotting. This is something that a lot of people don't know. Pinyinyet kotinye specific enzyme ngogule korotik chito anan ko teta kongutchin ngutu a specific enzyme an anti-clot enzyme nengutchin korotikuk siko circulate amu meche korotik chebeiyo sikokul. It's a very clever way of
let me write a report on the same. And I have to do that research.
Yes. It's a therapy. Actually, very expensive. If you look at people who have problems with blood clotting, risk of hypertension, they go for leech. They go for leech therapy, and then they get treated with that. Right.
Wonderful.
Congo Missing Simon, please write it, and then one of these days we bring you to discuss with us on the forum.
Yeah. Thank you.
Reverend, start to finish. Time.
Yes, I'm going.
If I were a student today of nursing, right, and I'm going to graduate in December, can I already start the process? That's A. And B, if I'm working and I'd like to go to the US as a nurse, how much time do I need to invest in this? And C, probably this could also be answered by Jennifer, who is not on our forum, but she's very actively commenting. Is there an age limit to apply for your program? Three questions, really. Yeah. Can I start the process before I graduate from KMTC?
Yes. No, right? if you, the only thing you can start before you graduate is to get your passport.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to take you on my workload if you don't have a nursing license in Kenya, or you don't have a degree in Bachelor of Science in either biology, chemistry, or lab technology. So you must graduate first and get a license.
Yeah.
But you can get your passport.
Yeah. What if I'm 50 years old? I'm an old.
No, it is fine. It is. In fact, I have nurses who are in their 50s, and they come here just to bring their children and their grandchildren. Really. So really no age limit unless you are like 60s or retiring in Kenya. I mean, you can still come here, but it's going to be a challenge. But you can come and do other things and work and do other things, because you don't even work. You don't need to work in the hospital. You can do what we call home care. So you can do home health agency where you take care of one patient in their homes. So no age limit, and do not limit yourself. Just do your best. I have nurses who are in advanced ages. What was the other one? Because I need to move to challenges.
Yeah, no, now from Jennifer, the question is from start to end. What is the amount of time invested?
Right. Okay, really, that one depends, because in the process, there are some stages that you are in control. Like if you delay sending your transcript, if you delay sending your license, if you delay sending your fingerprints. So really, let's assume there are no significant delays anywhere. And also there is the issue of embassy with the long queue in the embassy. So I would say, to be on the safe side, call it 2 years, really. Call it 2 years. Just that is, it could be earlier than that, it could be later than that, but on an average, 2 years, on an average, in this climate, climate.
Okay, I mean, when I posted on Facebook, I mentioned to people that this is a process. It's not an event. Would you like to comment on that? And then you can go to the challenges.
Yes. as I told you, the process is very lengthy, and each stage builds on the next. Each stage builds on the next, and you have to finish one stage to go to the next stage, to go to the next stage, all the way to the end. So it's a very lengthy process, very lengthy. If you have the patience, you can do it if you have the patience. And I'm going to mention that on the challenges. So let me go through the challenges, and I'll probably recycle that in my comments. All right, the first challenge that I see, Dr. and everyone in the forum, these are challenges that I've seen for the last 3-4 years now. One is lack of knowledge. You know, this knowledge we are sharing now, a lot of people don't have it. So people go with what they hear in the streets. People say, okay, let me first start with English exam because one of the agencies requires it. So you find there's a lot of misinformation, there's a lot of ignorance, there's a lot of people are just scamming also people, because when there's no clear knowledge, people are easily scammed. So there's lack of knowledge. So educate yourself in the process, learn from YouTube, learn from people like us, learn from people who are already here, like Jennifer and the rest. Learn. It's not difficult. If you know what you're doing, it's not difficult. So number one is lack of knowledge. Two is also connected to that is misleading information. There's a lot of misleading information in this age of false narratives. People post things, wrong information. So it's a scammer's paradise. Actually, it's a scammer's paradise. I know people who have been scammed up to 800,000 Kenya shillings just by people who don't take them anywhere. They tell them, I'll take care of everything, including your NCLEX exam here in the US, in Kenya. And they pay money for that. And then when it's time for them, you know, it's like one was told they are supposed to do that exam in December, this December in Kenya. So, and they were asking me, where am I going to go to exam in Kenya in December? I told them, well, I don't know if there's a center in Kenya. You ask that person. The only place I know is in South Africa, and the process. So number three is lack of finances, especially for younger people who are starting out. They just graduated, they don't have stable jobs. They get those challenges. And I want to encourage parents and people like us who have relatives and friends. Let's support them. If you think that they are serious enough, let's invest on them to come here. So parents, I mean, just sell even 1 cow, 2 cows for them to pay for this CGFNS and help them get their passports. Help them. It's a finance is a challenge, and also that goes with lack of job opportunities. Some nurses in Nairobi right now, they lost their jobs and they have families and they are supposed to go to South Africa for the exam. So it's a big challenge, is finances. And then the delays. We talked about the delays. There are some delays that are out of your control, like CGFNS has been delaying the process a little bit. And then maybe your agency also will delay you because of one reason or the other. Maybe it's systemic reasons. And then there's the US Embassy. There's a huge backlog in Nairobi right now, even though they have started calling the nurses for their interviews. So those are out of your control. If you can control the parts that you're able to control and move swiftly, then you can do well. You can reduce the delays. And that's what we are working at on with Polaris. We know where the bottlenecks are. We know where the sewage is clogged, and we're trying to unclog those areas. And that's why we want to give nurses the chance to control the first part of the process. Control JSA and CGFNS, control the document verification, control the Board of Nursing application, control the booking exam, control your ATT application. And then after that, you pass your exam. Now we take over the rest, because part 2, it is hard for you to control anything. You are dealing with the American system, the US State Department system. So that's what it is on delays. Number 5 is lack of patience. Now, Dr. and all those who are in this forum today, our people have built a culture of get rich quick or get this thing real quick, real fast. The first thing people ask you is, how long will it take? And you tell them it's 2 years, and they just walk away. This process is very long. Anything that is of value in life, it takes time. It's like building a nice house. It's like building a good project. It takes a while, and especially American system. And also remember, this is this is a special visa that you are getting. You are getting a green card. So the process will take longer because the type of green card you are going to get is a permanent resident green card. You are a few steps to becoming a US citizen. So the government takes it seriously. They don't want to bring the wrong people into the country. They don't want to bring criminals and terrorists and all that. They take their time. They want to make sure you are qualified and you can come and function in this country. So that's why it takes a long time. People who want to rush, you might usually tell them, you can try the UK side. It might be faster that way. But you know, are you going on a green card? Are you taking your family there? How long will you be there and all that? So be patient with the process. And once you finish each step, you cannot go back to that. You are done with that step, you go to the next. So patience is key. Don't go for shortcuts. There's lack of due diligence. That's number 6. Lack of due diligence. I call it tardiness. It's unbelievable, Dr. Jason. I mean, those days when we were in school, we were so careful. When you are even writing a letter, you are writing your composition and all this, we were so, I mean, we are from a different system. Nowadays, young people, you know, you tell even somebody, okay, they ask you, my documents have delayed, blah, blah, blah. So you tell them, you send an email to them, the Wazungus, and inquire. And so when they send the email, the Wazungus send it back to me and they ask, what is this nurse wanting? Because the communication is not clear. They didn't communicate well. They will send an email and say, okay, what about mine? How far is it? Or, okay, why is mine delaying? And my friend has gotten theirs. Why? What about me? So I have to take time. Sometimes I have to tell them to draft, and then I look at it, and then I send it back to them, and then I tell them, okay, this is the right one to send it. Also, documents, it goes with the names. The same thing with lack of due diligence. Documents, the name on the document is a disaster. You find somebody has on their passport, Serone, Jason, Matelong. And then the rest, they have Matelong, Jason, Serone, and then something else, and then another one, and then another. And then the 5th document, they have another name that is coming from nowhere. And so it becomes a real disaster. They don't even know, the Americans don't know which one is the surname, which one is the middle name, and which one is the first name. So they get delayed so much because of that. So we try to avoid that by first pre-screening their documents in the earlier stages. If they are able to sort some documents and take care of some documents early, we help them to do that. And we have successfully done many of those. Of course, they have to spend money, maybe change the passport, maybe change this other document, change this one, get an affidavit and all that. I have a nurse who went to the embassy the other day, and she had to be rescheduled because a name appeared from out of nowhere. And then when she was asked which name is this, she was saying, I was given by my dad, but that name is nowhere else in any of the documents. So please, parents and everyone, make sure, and then I have a case also of a name like in Kalenjin, those names that you can use an apostrophe as a pronunciation mark, like araap Ngori, you know, Ngori is NGO and then apostrophe and then Ngori, or Kimngetich. Yes, you know, we have those names with apostrophes. Now I have this nurse, she's not from Kalenjin, she's from a Kikuyu tribe, but she uses that name like Kingori. Example is Kingori. So she's at the embassy stage and her documents were returned because all the documents, she has an apostrophe, but then it is not in the passport. The apostrophe is not in the passport. So please, parents, everyone, please, those things are so important. Be consistent on the name of your child or yourself. Look at your documents. Are those names matching? Are they matching? Which one is the surname? Which one is the middle name? Which one is the first name? Because I'm telling you, you will come back from the embassy.
Reverend, I think it's the same. You find people who write Kirwa with an H at the end. Kimurgor here is Gregor Arabro too. Sometimes
or
they write
Koske with a K or G.
Or with a K or a G, with an I or a Y, Serone with an I or a Y. Rotug with a T or a double T.
Rono
Yeah.
with an edge. So
Or a
but
double
whatever you
N,
do,
yeah,
yes.
Ruta with a double T.
Whatever you do, be consistent. I think that is the lesson. If you have a double T everywhere, Ruta, stick to that. Stick with, be consistent, because it will bite you in the end. Then there's number 8 is the poor NCLEX exam preparation. A lot of nurses, you know, unless, you know, they go through our modules, and then when they are done with our modules, sometimes it takes a while from finishing the modules to going to sit for the exam in South Africa. So some people are not, you know, this is a different exam. It's not like the Kenyan exam. So a lot of people are ill prepared actually, or they either get overconfident or they either get underconfident. I mean, they are overwhelmed when they get hit there, and they lose that sharpness they had. I know people who have failed, and really they were not supposed to fail. They are smart, they have the grades. I knew they were going to pass, but because of something happened that time, they failed. Others whom you are not sure, you are not even sure if you really want to send them. You are not sure if they are really ready. Those ones, they passed. So it's about preparing yourself mentally, physically, and even spiritually. Then there's people also operate on assumptions. They assume things. They don't ask questions. They assume, or they do it the way they know. Like you send somebody a document, like the way we want the CV to be made, we have a template that we use. But you find out people are still adding, like Americans, they don't care whether you are married or single, whether you are a Christian or a devil worshiper, they don't care. They don't want to know. It's none of their business. But you find that Kenyans, with their CVs, they include all the personal information that nobody's asking for. And I've told them in my instructions to not include. We don't want to know your status, your marital status. One funny thing with Nigeria or Ghana, I think it's Ghana, they put on their birth certificate, they put your religion on your birth certificate. So I'm learning a lot of things and a lot of systems. In Nigeria, I think, was it Nigeria or Ghana? I think it's Nigeria. You look at the birth certificate and they put religion, they have to say, are you Christian, Muslim, or traditionalist? So that is one. The other one is poor preparation for the trip. When the trip comes around, you are ready to go to South Africa. This is where the rubber meets the road, like that. A lot of our nurses have not been out of the country. Like all of us, you know, the first time I came to America, I came first time, that was the first time flying. I came on a KLM flight. It was a huge experience for me. I even slept, and I think I don't know what I did to my seatmate while I was sleeping. So it's quite something when I'm preparing them. One, they go to the airport late. They think they are catching Northrift to Eldoret. They pack things that are not supposed to be packed. They take water, they take juices and all that. They miss flights. Some have missed flights from South Africa. They don't exchange their currencies while they are back home before they go to South Africa. They complain of strange food in South Africa. They go ask for ugali there. There is no ugali in South Africa. They don't rest prior to the trip, so they are under a lot of stress. So we do a lot of work trying to help them prepare for the trip. And then today I had a nurse who was going to South Africa, and guess what? She was on KQ, and KQ, they are on strike. We put her on South Africa Airways. South Africa says we work with KQ. So they had to cancel the exam and the trip. Oh, and of course, that one is not my nurse. She's with a different agency, but I'm helping her. Now, the thing is this, a lot of these affect nurses, they affect their performance, they affect everything. So they need to be well prepared. Then there is the family dynamics. Broken marriages, broken relationships, new relationships. I usually tell them, you know, when you are in this process, please hit pause. Pause on new relationships, work on existing ones. If there is nothing, leave it alone. And you know, those who listen to me, they make it. Some of them who get excited and they find someone along the way, they get a lot of challenges and they fail. I know one who has failed like 2 times because of a new relationship. And then finally, and then not finally, but next one is having children also. Apart from relationships, there is also having a child or newborn babies when you are going through this process, and it brings a lot of delays, a lot of challenges. Some have even, you know, your baby is due this week and your exam is next week. You know, I tell them, let's cancel the exam. I don't see how you're going to make it. And they say, I will make it. I'm a strong woman. Huh? I'm an African woman. I'm strong. Tell them, no, you are going to fail. Guess what? They failed. So if the baby comes, that is okay. Postpone the exam and take care of yourself and the baby. But if possible, if you can prevent that from happening, please hold the babies. You can always have them any other time. And then there's a IELTS exam. This is an English exam they have to pass. They have to pass an English exam before they are issued a US visa. It's a very tough exam, but if you are prepared, you can pass it. US, they require, it's not, you know, a lot of people, they depend on YouTube. Others rely on YouTube, and others think that it's a regular English exam, but it's a tough exam. UK and Australia, they require one to have a 7 overall pass in reading, listening, speaking. That's UK and Australia. They have the highest requirements. UK and Australia, you have to have 7. USA and Canada, you have to have 6.5, but have 7 in speaking for USA. So US is a little bit lower. It's a little bit lower. So in general, those are some of the challenges that we go through. I know we are almost, do we need to cut now or we continue?
Thank you very much, Reverend. I think what's important is to get the message out. It's not really the time, except if you if you are in a hurry. I mean, Edwin Koske-Motai, who actually pointed me to you, says it's important to touch on the resources one needs to plan before the commencement of the process. And I think you already mentioned what investment somebody needs to have. The educational qualifications, you mentioned somebody needs to be a registered nurse, at least a diploma.
Yeah, diploma level or degree.
Yeah.
And be licensed, have the license.
Yeah, you need to be a licensed nurse in Kenya. Then the work experience. And does it matter what level of hospital somebody has worked in?
Some agencies will not take you if you work in a hospital that's under 100 bed capacity. But for me, since I'm trying to help you, we can talk. I can help you. I can see a way to help you because you can get started. The journey is long. Meanwhile, you can get started now as you look for a better hospital. Even if you don't get employment in a big hospital, you can still volunteer in that hospital to get the experience.
Yeah. Dr. Jennifer says there is no age limit in the US. You just need to come, even if you are retired. And Jennifer also is saying, you know, the business of taking nurses is like a business like any other. So the agency allows you to work or, you know, links you with a hospital. The hospital recovers money, sort of. The nurse is paying, but indirectly. And over time, the nurse is the beneficiary anyway, because then you bring your family, you can go to school. And then Jennifer is a very good example. She started off as a nurse. She just graduated 1 year ago with her PhD in nursing. Yeah, so I think that would be great. Regarding the question from Fancy, Jennifer says you need to have a master's level in nutrition and dietetics, or you just apply for a PhD when you will get absorbed by a hospital. You specialize in something. I think the reason is, and this is where a lot of people mistake it sometimes, nutrition is actually a biology. It's not just, oh, you mix, I don't know, sugar and flour and make porridge. It is a physiology. It is a very intense thing. In Germany, you don't do nutrition unless you've gone to a medical school. So you do it as an upgrade to your medical degree, because it is something which is related to the human physiology and that understanding, you know, the idea. All right, Reverend, I mean, if we want, we could wrap up.
No, I mean, if there are questions, we can still discuss questions, anything, and then when we wrap up, I'll give our contact information, but I have the time.
Yes. No, I didn't see any questions except one. Thomas Kimboy said he's preparing to go to the US. He's going through the process at the moment. I suppose he might be one of your candidates as well.
He could be, and if not, feel free to reach me out. I don't just take care of my nurses. I also reach out to others who are in different agencies. I help them out of my way.
Yes. Reverend, the question that a lot of people would be asking, since you mentioned about scamming, and these people who do what is called confidence, whatever trading or whatever it is, how do I know who is genuine and who is not a genuine agent?
You first take your time to understand the process on your own through YouTube, through talk shows like this. Also, before you sign up with anybody or pay anybody any money, find someone who is going through the process right now and try to learn which agencies are recruiting in Kenya. There are many agencies recruiting in Kenya right now or Africa. Google them, check their websites, talk to nurses who are going through or nurses who are with those agencies, and then take your time to figure out if these are scammers, because a scammer will tell you, one, you will do the NCLEX exam in Kenya. You are not going anywhere. Two, they will tell you that they will take care of everything, including your NCLEX exam. They will do it for you. And you know, Kenyans, they like shortcuts. They say, you mean you will do everything for me? I don't have to do anything. They say, yes, just pay money, we'll do that. That is a big lie. You have to sit for that exam yourself, and you have to go out of the country. So try to teach yourself the process. Find somebody who is in the process. Take time to Google them. If somebody is saying, I am a recruiter, hey, find them in Google them. Tell them, who are you recruiting for? Where's your website? Where's your office? Who are you? How many people have you recruited? Can I talk to them? Who are they? So for me, if you need my reference, I have 300 nurses to give you. If you need my reference to know how many nurses I've brought to the US, I have people here in the US who came through my program. So that's what you do, your due diligence. It goes back to the same thing I was talking about. Do your due diligence.
Thanks, Reverend. There is a question from Janet. I just leave it like that. It's Janet is 46 and she's asking where she can start the NCLEX process. And I suppose the brief answer is wait. Reverend is giving the details on the contacts. But the long answer from my side would be, we just said NCLEX is not the first step. It's likely to be step number 2, 3, or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
So it's really great. People, I have to tell you, we have to be very clear on following instructions in the process, because like the Reverend said, you need to hit certain milestones before the next process starts. It is a hurdle. You jump the first one, you get ready to jump the second, you jump the third, you jump the fourth, and then finally you jump the embassy, and that would be it. So I guess, Reverend, at this point, what you could basically do, and I think I have also had, let me see whether I can share the, there was the image that was shared by Mutai last time. Where do I have it? I will try and open. Just, Reverend, you can go ahead and mention. I will open the image so that I share with people.
Right. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. For those who are interested to go through the process, I know you have alternatives. You can use other agencies. But the reason why I offered myself to do this is to give you the support that you lack from other agencies. Because other agencies, most of them are based here in the US, and it's hard to read them. And sometimes they just give you instructions. You cannot call them. You cannot talk to them. Yes, exactly. That is our e-poster. That is our e-poster right there. So that is Polaris, our office in Nairobi. And that is one of our e-posters there. It has our number, WhatsApp number right there, down below.
This one.
Yes, 254-706-025-843. That is our WhatsApp number. And email is info@polarisconnect.org. One word, info@polarisconnect.org. Our Facebook page is Polar Bears 2. Bola like Bola, and then Bears 2. Our website is polarisconnect.org. That is our website. So you can reach us. Felix is in Nairobi. He will take good care of you. We have our office admin. Her name is Bila. She's there to help you. And we have 3 options for you. Depending on your finances and your situation, we can put you through the agency route, which they will take care. You will still pay for your CJVNS, but then after that, they pick up the rest of the expenses for you. But then with the agency, the process might go a little bit slow, and then they might post you anywhere in the US. So far, we are sending nurses to Texas. We are sending them to Tennessee. We are sending them to Florida and North Carolina and Georgia for that in that agency. But that agency can send you anywhere. So that is option number 1. Option number 2 is the hospital direct. And this one, you will be hired directly by the hospital, and I will take care of all that process for you, the paperwork and everything for you. You might have to spend a little bit of your money initially. Do your JSA, you do your Code of Nursing account, you pay for that, you pay for your Pearson VUE account, you book, you get your ATT, and then you book your exam, and then the hospital will pick up the expenses from there. We pay for your air ticket and hotel, and then take care of the rest. With the hospital direct, you know you will work in either Virginia or North Carolina or South Carolina or Georgia, one of those, because this hospital has, it's a health system and they have hospitals in those 4 states, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. And you can transfer internally after 6 months. If they send you to Virginia, after 6 months, if you want to transfer to Georgia, they have a hospital there in Georgia, you can go there. If you want to transfer to North Carolina, they have many hospitals in North Carolina. And then the other one is somebody who doesn't want any sponsorship at this point. You are not sure how you want to go about, but you want to do NCLEX on your own. We can assist you through the process as an independent candidate. And once you pass the exam, we can look at your options for you, whether you to sign up with the agency or sign up with my hospital or sign up with a different hospital because you are an independent candidate. So maybe you are an independent candidate and you want to go to California because you have relatives there. So we will find something for you in California. So there are 3 ways: agency, hospital direct, or self-sponsor independent candidate. So we work with you to help you. We are cutting down a lot of bottlenecks. We are flushing the sewage system in the process, the initial process where the delays are. That is really what we want to work hard on. We will be providing IELTS also, IELTS and NCLEX revisions, modules. We will take care of that for you. So please sign up with us. We are here. You can go to our office in Mlolongo, Nairobi. You can call me in the evening in Kenya time, because here during the night, a lot of people will call at night, and I turn off my phone at night because of that. Call me, go to the office. Felix will help you, Bella will help you. And I have a lot of nurses who are in the program who will give you the support you need. There are those who are in the process going to do NCLEX. There are those who just started. There are those who are getting ready to go to the embassy. There are those who are already here in the US. So you will have support across the board. So in fact, a lot of time I will refer you to somebody to help you, because if you have an issue with this, I know who will help you on that. If you have an issue with this, I know we'll take care of that in the program. So there's a good support